Hello, good morning. I am Sofia, Business Manager Europe of HRbuilders, and very honored to welcome you in our webinar To Freelance or Not to Freelance. You probably subscribed because you want to become a freelancer. Great and congratulations.
Hello, good morning. I am Sofia, Business Manager Europe of HRbuilders, and
I know a lot of people who are not happy, who stay stuck in their corporate life. They think about making a change in their life, but they don't do it for whatever reason. And some people want to make a career change. However, they don't do it. They have fear of not having a steady income or the insecurity of not being able to make it work on their own. HRbuilders has over 10 years experience working with freelancers. And when we tell you that your life can change, believe it and open your mind for the future. It will take us about 30 minutes to walk you through the slides. I will start with a short introduction about our company HRbuilders, followed by market trends, your readiness, our freelancers community, daily concerns you may have as a freelancer, and some referrals to external partners who can help you out in your journey. Please feel free to ask any question you should have in the chat box. We are very happy to support you in your freelancer journey. So HRbuilders, what do we do? Our company was founded in 2008 and is still the number one in Belgium and Europe for HR functions. From the start, there was only one focus, one niche, HR assignments. So we match freelancers, self-employed people, with open positions in companies. And since 2018, we also support our clients with urgent, permanent needs. Why is that? Because we have a network of plus 4,000 HR professionals in Belgium, our domestic markets, but also in Europe and even beyond. We are constantly in contact with our freelancers community, and we know upfront, meaning now, today, who is interested in open assignments or in changing roles. So we are able to help companies to find the right HR professional in 48 working hours. So how do we work? We are building a freelance HR community. If a client contacts us that he has a need for an HR professional, we already have a clear picture of potential candidates. We contact candidates that we know in person, and we find the right match within 48 hours. We present CVs to our clients, and as soon as contact is established and if both parties agree to work, we sign a contract with you as an entry manager and with the client. So we take care of all the contractual hassle. For sure, you as a consultant have a very positive impact on the company, and in most of the situations, contracts are extended. In average, the duration of a mission is 9 months. HR is really in our DNA. It is what we do and what we know best. We all have over 15 years of experience in various HR domains. And in our team, we have 7 people focusing on the international markets and 3 people focusing on the Belgian markets. In the international markets, we have people focusing on France, Germany, the Netherlands, UK, Latin America, but also beyond. Recently, we closed projects in the US, in Poland, and other countries. We have roles who have a local, a regional, or a global scope. We will share this presentation with people who subscribed for the webinar, and please feel free to contact any matchmaker depending on the region where you are interested in. Why do companies work with HRbuilders? Because of our experience and reputation. If they are really looking for a specialist in HR, we have a true international reach, work with senior matchmakers, and working with us is no hassle. We only do one thing, and we do it good in a pragmatic and quick way. If we talk about the kind of assignments, then we can help companies cover maternity leaves, situations of crisis, overflow, shadow management, and gap management. There we bridge the gap between two permanent position holders. Talking about numbers, we need 1 week to solve a client's challenge. We are 10 years in business, so have a true expertise. 35% of our revenue is international, and we served more than 150 clients and more than 700 assignments. If we have a look into the kinds of requests that we receive, then an analysis learned us that 40% of the requests is about HR generalists. So meaning that a company is looking for an HR manager, an HR business partner, or an HRD or VP HR. Then the second category is talent acquisition with 22% of the roles, followed by comp and ben, and then the remaining smaller categories is about learning and development, social relations, and talent management roles. In the category specialists, there we have mainly HRIS, LMS, Workday implementations, etc. So to give you a bit of an idea of what kind of requests we are covering today, Cécile is in France working on a senior global comp and ben position, and the person should mainly work with Swiss colleagues, and knowledge of Russian would be a plus. Sigrun is working on an HR manager in Dresden in Germany. Isabel is looking for a group HR director in Aalst. Tama for a head of learning academy in Brussels. And yesterday evening, Nancy told me that she's looking for an HRBP with payroll and admin tasks for the Netherlands and Belgium, based in Mechelen. So you see that we have a range of different roles in different regions. We don't post them always on the website, but I would say if you are interested to work with us, contact one of our matchmakers and stay in touch so that you are really top of mind. And if we receive a request, then we can contact you and exchange in order to see if it fits with your preferences. So this was a bit an introduction about HRbuilders, and I think in this context it's also very important to focus on the trends, because yes, becoming a freelancer, there is a kind of uncertainty, but is it a trend or is it something that will stay in the future, this freelancing or gig economy? And no matter which study you will consult, you will see that indeed freelancing is absolutely trending. And since 2002, we see an increase in the number of people freelancing or working as an entry manager. I included several slides in the presentation. You will find different sources. You can have a look into the details later on. I split it up also by country, the number of contingent workers. And here it's also important to point out that there is a difference between the gig workers, the people who work for Uber, the people who work via temp agencies, and the talent workers or the professional independent contractors. Because we see HR consultants, HR entry managers as professional independent contractors. And if we take the global population into account, then we can see that on average in Europe, 20% of the population today is independent or working in a contingent statute. Indeed, this is also what is aligned with the figures that we see in the US and in the UK. And more companies are indicating that the number of contingent workers will increase in the future. They see the benefits of greater flexibility and lower costs, which are more than offset the increased risk and burden on management. So for us, it's not a trend, but it's really a long-term trend that will not stop yet. This is another study that shows the growth in professionals in the European Union. So here you can also see that per country, the numbers have increased by 45%, which makes freelancers the fastest growing group in the European labor market. Of course, freelancers it's a mix of functions, and this slide shows that, for example, in Belgium, but I think it's quite representative for other countries, that human resources is only a small part of the whole freelancers population. It's a small part, but also in HR we can see that there is a trend year by year. There are more people working as freelancers and earning their money in a freelance statute. And freelancing isn't new. It's maybe a trend, but in fact already in the Middle Ages we knew this kind of work. For example, knights, they were the first freelancers that we know because they offered their services to fight for a knight. And what about the future? If you look at in an historical perspective, then it's maybe also interesting to think about the future of work, where we think that maybe in the future it will be about managing robot freelancers. From our experience, we can tell you that if you want to become a freelancer, if you will win in this economy, then you really need a sense of entrepreneurship. You need to have a specialized skill or an expertise. And also you need to have strong technical or management, leadership or creative abilities. This is what we learned from experience in the past, and for sure this sense of entrepreneurship is absolutely important. So are you ready? Because maybe you think I'm not very happy in my job today, and we can understand that because only 13% of employees worldwide are engaged in their jobs. And we can tell you that people who start in a freelance position, that it's only 46% thinks that, or 40% thinks it's very unlikely that he would go back to a role on the payroll. And 41% of the people think it's unlikely. So once decided, people decide to stay in this freelance framework because it gives you a lot of advantages. Most independent workers have actively chosen their working style, and they report high levels of satisfaction. This is also confirmed by a lot of studies. And for sure, freelancing has a lot of advantages. Flexibility, freedom, you learn continuously because you change from company, you change from industry, you learn best practices from very different employers, which you can take back in other companies. And you can really make the difference because as a freelancer, you have a specific project, you work towards results, and you really are independent. You are not dependent on politics in companies, but you can focus on the project. This is what we hear very often as the main advantages of freelancing. The biggest disadvantage is for sure the uncertainty. But when people are telling me that you are not certain if you are a freelancer, then I always answer, are you certain in a big corporate organization? Today, things are changing so fast. Uncertainty in business worlds is not a certainty anymore because change is everywhere. So for me, it's not really a disadvantage of freelancing. What is maybe difficult is that you have difficulties to plan ahead, and sometimes you have maybe to do a project that is less interesting. But then again, it's a very flexible solution, so you can stop this assignment and then you can look for something that is more interesting. So what do you do as an interim manager? You can manage day-to-day operations, or you can help companies to deal with unusual and complex situations. And there we also see that you have really a type of interim managers. Some people really say, yeah, I prefer manage day-to-day. And other people say, yeah, I just became an interim manager because I want a change. I want to do things that really are a challenge. As I said, the duration is between 6 to 18 months of a project. And the uncertainty, I already said that, I already pointed that out. Who can be sure to have a job for life these days? So, about the uncertainty, how can you find work as a freelancer? Because maybe the commercial side of the job is not really your cup of tea. And believe it or not, but the number one way to find a freelance job is via friends and family. If you want to become a freelancer, talk about it with every person that you meet. Tell them, because it's really a puzzle, and sometimes it's really in a coincidence that somebody hears, but hey, I know a company who is in trouble, who needs somebody. So friends and family, don't underestimate this channel to find a freelance job. Professional contacts, of course, which is quite obvious. Social media. And in this study, we see online job boards. However, for the HR interim management market, I think there is still a revolution to go. For now, I don't see a lot of high-level interim management jobs for HR functions. As we see, so this is a new index that was created, the Online Labor Index, which you can also find online. And it's an economic indicator that provides the online gig economy on a real-time day basis. So it measures the utilization of online labor across countries. And there you can see also this trend that it's increasing, but as I already mentioned, for HR positions, in my experience, it still has to change, because I don't see a lot of high quality or high level jobs offered online. And also here you can see that most platforms are used for the sourcing of software development and technology, and that for the professional service we see a rather limited use of platforms. And also, of course, United States is here a trendsetter. If we look at Europe, then the platforms are only for writing and translation and software development, a source for the sourcing of labor. Voila, with which freelancers are we working? What is our community? They are self-employed, so people who are able to invoice. It's people we know personally, so we will always ask you, when you say you are interested to work with us, we will always ask you to have a conversation, to exchange, to get to know you. We will also ask you to meet us and to stay in contact, to send us updates, and you should do that with all the people that can help you to find an assignment. Really send regularly an email to tell them what you did, what your last project was, when you will be available again, because people meet so many people. We are a networked society, so you need to network, but really invest in it. And if you met somebody, within 1 year, that person will have you forgotten, so you have to re-establish contact from time to time. And HRbuilders as a company, we organize a lot of events because we believe in face-to-face contact. We believe in the connection with people, and we also learn a lot during these events, not only from a content perspective, but we get to know our community in depth. So I really invite you to have a look on our website where you will find our events. A lot of the events are in Belgium, but from time to time we also organize events in other European countries. We travel regularly, so if you're interested, please contact us and we will make an appointment in order to get to know you and in order to discuss with you what the possibilities are. And a lot of these conversations are always a kind of a coaching that we can help you to prepare your own brand, to prepare your CV, and to position yourself in this freelancing market. Of course, it's quite a journey. Once you decide to become a freelancer, you can have several concerns. And one of the concerns is about the fee. A lot of people are asking us, what can I ask? And in a European context, for each country there are a lot of differences. And even in Belgium, if you only look at Belgium, who is less expensive than the Netherlands, but more expensive than Italy, within Belgium there are also differences. People in Brussels can ask more than people in other regions of the country. But what should you keep in mind? We, with HRbuilders, we distinguish 3 different levels. We have people working on strategical level, people who work on an organizational level, and people who do work on an operational level. An operational level is a recruiter from who is doing really the execution in a day-to-day. That's operational level. A strategical level would be then somebody who is working with the business on the business strategy. What kind of people do you need? Where are we going to source and how are we going to source? People working on a strategical level, most of the time, and these are averages, have more than 15 years working experience. On an operational level, between 1 and 10 years. We have junior people who can work on an assignment. And on an operational level, an example is HRIS consultants. On an organizational level, it will be then a project leader. And on a strategical level, if we stay in the context of HRIS, it can be a program manager. And if we look at the fees that are linked with these levels, and I know it's maybe not 100% that you can rely on it, but it will give you an idea to position yourself in this sector. So in our experience, on an operational level, you as a freelancer, you can ask between 500 and 750 euros, and on a strategical level, your daily fee would be between 700 and 1200 euros. We also give the advice to people, if you make your business plan, keep in mind that on average you should be able to invoice 10,000 euros. Then you can have a good life and then you will be able to cover all your costs. Because you don't only have the salary, but you have other concerns. The costs of your healthcare, the cost also, what will you do when you retire? How much tax do you have to pay? And this is for each country different. So we really advise you to work with a good accountant who can give you insights in that and who will also give you all the elements that will allow you to make your business plan. We will give you in this presentation also some external partners with whom you can work. And if you didn't find the right partner, don't hesitate again to reach out to us, because with our network we can easily refer you to the right person. In Belgium, if you want to set up your own company, we can refer you to Multipan, which is a partner which we work already for a long time. So Multipan really knows how, what the disadvantages are, the advantages, and where you have to focus on. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. In other countries, for example in France and in London, very often people ask us for umbrella companies or portage salarial companies, which are companies who are an intermediary between you as a freelancer and our clients. And this is in the case where you say, well, I don't want to become an independent completely, but I want to work with a company who is taking care of all my administration. And basically, as a freelancer, you stay an employee. So it's an alternative to creating your own limited company. I will not go into details here because this is really specific for certain companies, but again, don't hesitate to reach out and we will be happy to help you here. So umbrella companies in France, Groupe Reactif. Sage is based in Switzerland and gives or offers an international service. People we know for a few years now and who are really reliable in what they do. For Belgium and the Netherlands, with pleasure, I refer to those two sites where you also will find a mass of information about freelancing, legal and governmental information. For me, these are really the sites where you can find all information that exists about the gig economy or the freelancers economy. Voila, this was the short introduction about to freelance or not to freelance, what we could offer. Now it's up to you, I would say. Think about it, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are happy to help you. If you didn't subscribe, but if you want to receive this this slide deck, you can send a mail to myself, Sofia at HRbuilders.eu, or you can leave your email address in the chat box. I will now have a look to the chat box and I will answer questions if there are still questions left, and if not, happy to help you in a one-to-one conversation. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.